And we're back. We've been talking about solutions for Chicago's communities as increased summer gun violence continues. We're talking with Vaughn and Charles. And you guys, Chicago lost, this is according to the Chicago Crusader, one of Chicago's longest running weekly African-American newspapers, that a year before the coronavirus pandemic, Chicago that year lost a total of 17,850 residents in at least 14 zip codes, which include predominantly black neighborhoods. Are people fleeing to get out? And where can they go? Chicago's not the only violence area or city.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, the census tells us between 2000 and 2010, we lost 200,000 black people. So, we're the only major city that's losing population. And I think Houston is steadily gaining on us. And I think we have to assume that, our violence issue is part of the challenge. And so, when we talk about solutions, one of the things I think we have to sort of understand is that, part of our mix of services is part of the solution. So we actually pay guys $300 a week to go through a 2-week job readiness training. We have monthly job fairs for the guys and gals that we work with. We will actually pay $300 a week to go through the City College's GED program. So when you have carrots out there like that, then the question becomes, why aren't people actually jumping at that opportunity?
Right.
Because if you're a, let's say, 27-year-old man, you dropped out of school in the 6th, 7th, 8th grade, the notion of going back to school and sitting in someone's classroom and learning basic fundamentals again, that's more than a notion. And so part of the reason we talk about healing is getting people to a level playing field, just mentally and emotionally, to be able to operate in the normal legal economy. And that's really difficult work. And I don't care if you dropped out of school as a college person, if you're coming back 10, 15 years later, there's going to be a psychological hill that you have to climb in order to feel comfortable being back in that environment. And then we also have to understand the history and legacy of systemic racism in our city got us to this point. And so when you look at housing discrimination that's rampant in the city of Chicago and all of the wealth that has been lost in our black and brown communities, those are all part of the things that we have to have solutions for that are part of the systemic things. And that way, when our work is done, when we heal the people, then they have to be able to get into an economy to live day to day. And so wealth and being able to create commerce in our communities is part of the mix as well.
Exactly. If everyone's leaving, that doesn't bode well for long term here in the city of Chicago. Charles, let me ask you this. You mentioned the media a few minutes ago. What role can the media play to make a difference?
Highlight some of the good that's going on. This time last year, Friday, this time last year, we had 48 less shootings homicides than we had same time last year. That means that the work is working and it's trending in the right direction. 48 less lives lost, that's huge. And we need to highlight these things, highlight the good things that's going on in our city. It seems like that Chicago always getting shined in a negative light because of the violence that's going on, but it's reasons for these violence.
What if we stopped? What if the media stopped showing the violence? Would that make a difference? And Vaughn, feel free to jump in too.
So I think part of what Charles is saying is just more of a balanced approach. I think the media has to tell the truth. And so the truth is we have unacceptable levels of violence. I think it's also true that we have an army of black and brown men and women that are across the city working to try to fix and heal the people and protect them from the gun violence that's going on. And that story needs to be told as well. And, part of that is on us. We have to be more proactive in telling our story and letting people know that in some of the communities that are historically violent, we've made some investments and have some people working that have actually either turned the curve and have reduced levels, or we have, we're being able to stay status quo, given, across the country and in most urban centers, gun violence is up.
And with summer here, with the heat, we always see statistics show more violence. Some say the hotter the summer, the worse the violence. What do you predict for this summer?
I mean, I think we all have to be honest with ourselves and know that we have to assume it's going to be a hot summer, which is why we implemented a strategy what we call FLIP, and Charles can talk more specifically about it. But it's a place-based strategy where we hire guys who have influence on a particular block, and we pick the 72 blocks on the south and west side that historically have the most violence, and we try to put people in place to make sure that they can mediate conflicts and try to move people along to make sure they don't commit crimes on those particular blocks. And it's a way to look at data, hire the right people, be in the spots that are historically violent, and try to have an intervention. And so Charles can actually talk about what that looks like in Austin.
Charles?
Like he was saying about the FLIP program, we hire guys that's from the community that they may have influence or what we call license to operate in their neighborhoods, where they're respected and people just listen or try to mediate the conflict. If they see something going on, they're able to intervene. And we have FLIP all over, like 12 of the hottest spots in the Austin community. And this past weekend, none of the hot spots had any group conflicts or group shootings. Or we had a few incidents over the weekend, but they weren't group related.
Yeah.
There wasn't historical conflicts that go on in the neighborhoods. So FLIP really worked along with outreach, collaboration with law enforcement, really had a positive impact. And not just this past weekend for the 4th of July, we had a real positive impact on Memorial Day weekend. And these are extended weekends, holiday weekends, where people gather in large groups. And that's usually when, it's a recipe for disaster. These large gatherings, people drinking.
Yeah.
But we had no group conflicts, no group incidents.
Well,
The shootings were very
I applaud
minimal.
you for that success, and I applaud both of you. Both of you, please be safe, be well. Quickly, where can viewers find you online? Vaughn?
metrofamily.org/CP4P.
Charles?
Charles D. at nonviolencechicago.org.
All right, thank you both.